The two homes back here, or were there
That's
more?
all. There was at least 3, and I don't know where the other ones were exactly. There was a Jones that was a black guy that used to own 50 some odd acres back here. Well, it was owned by blacks, period, even more areas. But I don't know his name. But he did not get along too well with the rest of the people.
Oh.
And one time they said, well, he's showing out again, so we go give him 50 acres back here and he can build a house on it. And he did.
Oh.
Okay.
And he lived there for a while. Now, what that man's name was, I do not know.
Other than Jones.
All I know his last name was Jones, but he was part of the Jones family, and it seemed to me like, from what Gene said, he was Silas's brother. Or
she said his grandson
or
or
grandson or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, he showed out and raised Cain because he didn't have his share of whatever. So they deeded him for 50 acres, and he owned it.
And you don't know what happened to him.
So
I don't know. Well, let me just tell you, this is something a lot of people don't know. You know, back when the blacks, after the Civil War and everything, and the blacks got to own land, they didn't have it long. You know why?
they
They couldn't make
it.
enough money off of it or anything, so they sold it back to the whites. So it ended up back. Now, this road right here, goes up to a fence, and I think that fence is locked, but we're gonna ride up there anyway.
I think
Now,
this is where Joni and I went once before and saw that tilled field.
that's correct. This is the direction to it, and to my knowledge, this is where Silas and Lula maybe lived, and I can get you fairly close to it, but I think if he's got this gate locked, I can't get through it unless I might could get around another way, but we'll see.
And the he would be Gene's brother, huh? Or I mean cousin.
Cousin,
Yeah.
first cousin. Now, his daddy owned basically all of this land, but now his daddy's dead, so Mike and Miriam actually own this together. Let me see if there's a lock on this gate. And
Looks
I
like
think
it.
that- I
Or it
think
might be.
that
It might be
probably
just
is.
laying there.
It may be
just
hooked
laying
in.
there. It looks like it's just put.
The Silas that we're talking about is Mud's grandfather. So this is where they used to come to to farm.
So whose grandpa was it?
It was my grandmother's grandfather.
Oh, okay. Got it. So your great.
I think, yeah.
One anyway, because the other one's more.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, let me just tell you, though, while we're sitting here, if you went down in this valley
Right.
and you started up the next hill over here, there would be, you'd go around to the left, you'd still be down, but the hill is up to the right, but it would be right back in there.
Okay.
It's where Silas and Lily live.
Okay. Gotcha.
One of my cousins, one of my black cousins, said that Silas was the first person in the county to own a tractor.
I don't doubt it, but Silas died before there was many tractors around.
Okay. When you lived here, when did you come here?
Only 40 years ago.
So what has changed in Culloden since you come here?
It's went downhill more so than anything else.
What businesses were open then that when you
They
was there a regular
actually-
town with
They
stores?
actually had one. They had one grocery store even when I come here 40 years ago over there, and there was a big mill over there. It was a feed mill
Oh,
where they mixed feed and ground corn and that kind of stuff.
and what
But-
kind of crops were they growing here when you got here?
Mostly, then it had become to where that everything around here was dairy farms.
Oh.
More than anything else. And of course, dairy farms included, they had to raise their own silage and food for the cows, which was corn and so forth. And then they would take it over there to that mill, and it was Pearson Mill when I came here, and I don't know what it had been. But Mike Oxford's daddy used to own the mill there in Culloden. Him and his brothers actually owned it, and but it's gone downhill since I've been here by far. It's, you know, at one time, you would not believe it, but Culloden had 3 banks in Culloden.
Was there a feed store? Or?
That was a feed store. It was a feed mill and feed store.
Can you
Now,
imagine coming back
if
here?
you'd like to, I'd take you over there
In the dark,
and
and
kind of
the
point out
black
where
and
that
the
was.
You know.
But
It's
the
burst the
majority, am I bouncing y'all around too
Oh
much?
no.
Nope.
But the majority of, I'm going to make a circle right here. Well, I have to back it up.
Okay.
But the majority of the stuff by the time I came here was dairy farms, and they are all gone. Gene's daddy and brothers own a dairy, and that's where their bread came from. But they accumulated a lot of land, and the fact that people could not, after the cotton went down, people could not maintain the taxes and pay the taxes on the property and everything. And they would go out, and they found out that they could buy the land with the timber on it, and the people would want to get out, because once the people sold the timber to pay the taxes, they didn't have nothing left but the land then,
Okay.
and the taxes was going to come due again.
Oh, okay.
So they took advantage of the situation and accumulated land. There's 200 acres right here that my wife owns, that her cousin Mike and his daddy and all, they were Gene's daddy and one of the brothers owned it together. So when he died, Gene's daddy died, they offered her this 200 acres back here, a deal of buy or sale.
Oh.
Well, you wouldn't have thought that family would take advantage of family so much.
Yeah.
Because they had it in their mind that Gene, her and her
Would sell.
mama would sell it.
Right.
So they offered them a
Low price.
low price.
Because that price is going to stand one way or the other, right?
So I told Gene, I said, don't say a word except for let them, just ask them the question. You did say buy or sell, right? I said, you tell them you want to buy at that point.
Yeah, you bet.
Because you
this is
can
where we were
sell the timber
last
off
summer.
of the land and
did
still
you?
own the land. Now, right
This is
here,
where we were last summer.
Yeah.
right here to the left, and
Yeah, there's the house back.
where that house place is down,
Yeah.
that was the only standing building back here that I saw after I came here. But right there where that roof, you can see this down, and that was the actual Jones place right there, and that was the cook room. I don't know if it did it up north so much, but in the south, you had a room that was the kitchen and the cook room that had a breezeway between it and the major house. And the major house sat right back in there, and this was a cook room. off of the back end of it. And one of the main reasons for that was that cook rooms, you had to have a wood fire and all that, and it was subject to burning up.
Yeah, you didn't want to burn down
So
your
you
house.
didn't want to burn down the whole house. So
Well-
that was the concept of.
Well, you think the original people who lived in this house were the White Joneses or the Black Joneses?
To my knowledge, this was Black Jones
Okay.
here. Now, whether they the ones that really built it to start with or whatever, but there were some Black Joneses that lived in it. Now, this thing right here is a deer hunting shack that one of the guys that's in our hunting club had put up there because we kill a lot of deer right here. Now, if you'll notice, over here to the, wait a minute, I guess my window was already down, I was looking up there. All of these flowers right here
Yeah.
and stuff, they've been here for years and years, and that little pile right under,
Yeah.
and all was part, they bricks and blocks and mostly rocks because people didn't put bricks under their house so much. It was rocks that actually held their houses up. And but there's a lot of foundation rocks that are right in that area.
So this was the main house, what you're
That was the
pointing to.
main house. That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
The main house was out this way, and then the cookhouse. Now, you have to understand, when we talking about houses, houses used to be not, when we say big house, they wasn't huge like a lot of houses are today. A big house was a couple of bedrooms, and all the boys slept in one, and the girls slept in the other, and then the parents slept in the other.
Well, given the age, what you see that house, what year would you say that house was probably built?
Probably in the 1920s.
Okay.
And when I say that in 1920, 20 up to 25, but I was born in 1937, and that house was old then. So
Okay. Well, see, that goes too. You know, if you're talking about a house that was somewhere in 1870, who knows where that was? If that's 1920, that's 50. That house was built 50 years later.
Yeah. Wow, you mean we could have kept going had we?
Oh, so road, you know. Oh, I see. This was a loop. Yeah.
this is, we call this the garden patch because I used to have a garden right here.
Oh.
And I quit gardening over here because I had no water, and I had planted a whole bunch of stuff and couldn't get water to it without hauling it over here. So,
Are these bushes primroses?
no, most of that bush back there is nothing but briars.
Oh.
These right here really are blackberries.
Oh.
These are blackberry bushes, and there's one pear tree that I planted right back there that I planted it 2 years ago. We got a bunch of pears off of it this past year, and my wife makes some of the best pear preserves you ever eat in your life.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know. You ate some of her food a while ago, and
Yeah,
that's one of
yeah,
her
absolutely.
favorite. That's
Yeah.
one of her favorite little dishes. But
Oh, yeah, nice.
at any rate, it's something. Myself, I'm more of a barbecue and Brunswick stew
Oh, okay.
type person. Now, I'm gonna take y'all down what is an old railroad bed,
Okay.
and then we'll go back up the road highway and put everything back into perspective.
Okay.
But
So when you're just walking through the woods, you run across what could have been a foundation once in a while, or some steps?
well, I already know about where they all are, you know, because
Okay.
I've been on it for 40 years. But to really pinpoint it, you still would find a few little areas that I'm not that familiar with. Like, for instance, I did not know that there was one place over here that had a well on it until a couple of years back, and I'd already been here 30-something years.
Okay.
When I finally walked up on it, I said, wow, what's that doing here, you know? But
Okay, it's a circle.
Well, those are things that we had thought. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of, and I should have. That if you're going to have a place out here in 1850, 1860, you got to have water, so you got to have a well. So either build it near a spring or someplace with water
Yeah,
near
we're
the
going on
spring.
the highway.
My granddaddy was a little bitty short man like me, but he lived up in Spalding County and Fett County. And my granddaddy was a well digger.
Okay.
And I have drawn him out of many a wells with all one of these windlasses that went across the hole, and he dug a.
Really?
And I'm talking about 100-foot deep or
Oh,
better. And of course,
golly.
him being little in stature, he could dig a smaller hole and still go down.
I don't even want to think about how many times he almost got.
Well, I dropped a bucket on him, and
Oh.
Granddaddy was rather
He didn't like
religious.
that.
My granddaddy was rather a religious man, and I never heard him cuss much or use any slang language. But I dropped a bucket on him, and he said, "Shaw, doggone, damn it!" And when he said "damn it," that was the first time I'd ever heard him say anything of that nature. Y'all don't worry, we're gonna make it right here. Just
You
Well,
say
you
no
wouldn't be saying
word.
that if you weren't worried about it.
Okay.
all right, now, if you look behind you,
Yeah.
this railroad bed right here
Okay.
went back this way. This was
Okay.
east and west.
Okay.
That being east, that being west.
Okay.
And we're fixing to get on what we call the railroad bed.
Okay.
Now, it's hard to imagine, but see the bank up here?
Yeah.
All of this bank and dirt was actually moved out and all by mostly Chinese, but
Okay.
some slaves, I'm sure. But it was done with mules and scoops, not what kind of equipment we have this day and
We
time.
didn't have any of those big earth movers.
Oh wow, yeah.
Look at this. Look how this goes across here.
This
Now-
is kind of what I was talking about.
That is my house. That is
Oh,
my
look at
house.
that.
That is my house right up there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Gene's daddy and them had covered up a culvert that went under here, and
Okay.
there was a little pond right here.
To-
But there's
record.
still
Now
some
take the
water
Oh,
in
there's
it.
water there.
But it drains under here through a